It's not like we're not nerds and proud of it.
Yeah.
Because we are. Here's the intro video. See you in a couple of moments. Ta-da! Thanks again to Gareth for making the intro video sequence, and to our esteemed... I've forgotten his name. Kevin MacLeod. How could I forget Kevin? Sorry, Kevin. And hello as well to Suitable Substrate. Live long and prosper, my dude. Thanks for tuning in again. Yes, it is us. We are here, the Navis. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Right, let's try and put some ambience going on here. Right then, to quickly get back on the horse, since we spent about 4 minutes waffling as nerds do about nerd stuff, because nerd stuff is awesome.
All in character, our characters were totally talking about animated Disney stuff.
And live-action remakes of Akira. Well,
Yep.
you never know. Give it a chance, but let's just say we don't have high expectations. Either way, we are now dealing with the fallout, almost literally, in some, or the falling off, I should say, pointing at some of the bits that are currently smoking and sparking on the bridge, of what happened last time.
It's the conclusion of the trilogy, of the three-parter, hopefully.
Well, this is we're still on the second part of the three-parter. This is part 2 of the second part of the three-parter, as it turns out, so...
Part 2.
So, this is actually the second chapter, known as The Way Out is In. This is just part 2 of The Way Out is In. So, yes, the Navis is in a bit of a state due to mostly a nearby anomaly, which I'm going to direct those who are looking at the stream to a certain something. On the outer edge of the Hefner Bay system, there is apparently some kind of subspace breach, some kind of aperture, which is giving out gravitons and tetrions. But also of note is the fact that a Klingon D7, which apparently was full of Orion folks, was heading towards the outer edge in order to remove evidence of their piracy, apparently. But doing so drew the Navis to investigate what they were up to, and drew both ships into getting kind of stuck and bombarded by the gravitons and tetrions coming out of the aperture. So we currently have a Navis that's not operating at 100%, but the crew are doing their best. But we also have the problem that Orions have now boarded the Navis and are making general nuisances of themselves. The group of Orions who tried to enter main engineering were successfully repelled, though they were not quite caught. The group that were attacking, let me think, the main transporter room were being contained by the chief of security. And let me think, who else did we have? The primary computer core and sick bay. Well, the primary computer core has been dealt with since Thazanan and Nova quite spectacularly handled the Orions who were there. There was Ushan Tor slashing and stabbing. There was various Lucha Libre high-impact hijinks by Nova, and then there was the spear from nowhere, the double spear from nowhere by Vazanan to finish things off. So, all things considered, those Orions didn't exactly know what hit them, or at least didn't expect it. But yes, the more concerning one is the fact that Sickbay at present is being besieged a little bit by a rather large amount of Orions. But the quick thinking on the part of Ensign Edwards and Dr. Bertram has led there to be an electrified door keeping the Orions at bay. So,
We're also hallucinating.
oh yes, of course. The last
dear.
thing we did was everyone had a strange, maybe not necessarily a hallucination, but some kind of time or past or future or present kind of mix-up go on.
Because alerting the doctor, he scanned Edwards and actually could see what was going on in his brain. That was potentially what's being stimulated, if I remember correctly.
Memories were being stimulated, yes, it seemed, which is a darn good point.
Except Andrews, who's suffering from precognition.
And Kano hasn't had any memories stimulated, but Vibers has.
My memory seems to be the damn tricorder keeps leaping out of my satchel onto the nearest table. Now is not the time to blame people. Once we dealt with the Orions, then we will court-martial Nova.
But she wasn't even in the area.
Like that would stop her. Well,
Actually,
no,
that's a good
no,
point.
but just the fact you're not in sick bay stop you from moving my stuff.
Nope.
See?
Right, this is a good point, actually. Because Nova also had whispering voices that drew her to follow them around a corner, and she saw for the briefest of moments a strange apparition of like a giant floating head with multiple eyes, but it vanished before she could get any proper communication going with it. But the presence that Nova detected seemed very curious about what was going on. However, I'm going to move us as quickly as I can to Natala. And I can just get these sound effects to play. They are not playing. That's not good. Let me try something else. Okay, so Natala, because you weren't present last time, John, I was saving this for when you came back to us, and you have, so quickly. Natala was, for the most part, while most of this shenanigans were going on, trying to help keep an eye on where the Orions were in the ship by monitoring internal sensors. At one point, Natala had to back out of the bridge in order to try and get some of her science staff to double up as engineers, basically to try and fix some of the ongoing problems that are going on. So when Natala was due to come back onto the bridge from one of the nearby corridors, Natala suddenly found herself walking down a corridor towards where her family are living currently, on Narendra Station. What Natala finds is that as she realizes that she's in totally the wrong corridor, especially because you guys haven't been posted to Narendra Station ever since the conflict with the Klingons began, just as Natala gets to the door, she recognizes as the door that was her primary quarters on Narendra Station, the door opens, and one of her children actually comes out with a suitcase all packed and ready. See, Mama, I packed it. I'm ready. Do we really have to go?
Is this a moment in which I'm remembering how it went down before, or is this a variation on?
You kind of remember this happening, yes.
Natala responds absent-mindedly with as close as she can to the original response, but her attention is elsewhere, clearly. Yes, I'm afraid we must. We always manage to find ourselves back in the right place at the right time, and get sort of distracted by that turn of phrase.
Right. But I don't know if I'll make any more friends again. I've only just made friends here on the station. Kerchak's a Klingon. Am I going to have to stop being friends with him now?
Nothing lasts forever, but that also includes conflict. You may well find that you will have a chance to meet some of the people from here again later.
I really hope so. Then Natala hears somebody come up behind her. Commander, I think this is yours.
Hans?
Spinning around, it's one of the Navis crewmen from the science department who's handing Natala a pad. You wanted my report on the repair I just made? And she hands over the pad. Yes. She's apparently completed the repairs that you set her to do. And Natala realizes she's back on the bridge of the Navis.
Yep.
So, with all that to consider...
Our behavior in the way of Tetrions isn't constant. It's from time to time. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to pick up the items on internal senses at all. We lose them occasionally. It's just the same way as we are losing ourselves occasionally. Is there a pattern to when the when people start behaving like Tetrion particles?
Ooh, interesting thought. Something to ponder. As you're about to, as Natala's about to try and investigate this little thing, that's when the ship gives a little shudder. Now, it's not the same kind of heavy impact jolt that everyone's used to doing, so you don't have to do the Star Trek shake as of yet. However, there's enough of a sudden jerk to the ship that everybody does feel it. So, with that in mind, can I... Actually, I will draw folks' attention to this. Hopefully I've got the right one. Yeah. Out in space, all of a sudden, something starts happening. As some kind of beam or some such appears to have snagged the Navis. Coming back to the bridge. Can I get Natala to give me a reason and science task with a difficulty of 0, please?
Indeed. Is there any possibility of quantum mechanics as a focus on this one?
Good question. Let's go with yes.
No.
One success and a complication. Okie dokie days.
We'll be fine.
You know what I've just realised? Once again, momentum and threat have not loaded for me. Let me quickly reload. Hopefully they will come back to me. Come back!
They
There
appear
we
to
go.
be at 3 and 7 respectively.
Yes.
You adjusted for how much threat you'd have lost for the wrong name Sunday.
It wasn't recorded. Dang it! Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. Nah, I'm not going to force
Drat! Now there's evidence. I never get things wrong. And if you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you in Iceland.
Got some bottom land as well.
Okay, so, this is fascinating. The ship appears to be getting pulled towards the singularity by a shaped beam comprised of gravitons, tetrions, and trace subatomic particles. Under any law of physics that Natala knows of, such a thing should not be possible. And yet, there it is.
That aligns sort of with our current experience, because our current experience being like tetrion particles and tetrions being so prevalent in this whole environment doesn't make sense already, because tetrions can't survive this long outside of the subspace areas. And as much as there's a subspace thing nearby, we aren't one normally. So I guess we are a subspace event. And so the laws of physics don't apply. But oh dear, what kind of subspace is nearby us?
Well,
I believe we already know. Was it not void space or something similar? Anybody recall?
If you don't remember, then I'm not giving it away. So
Yeah.
that's fine. Quick, somebody watch the other streams.
Don't cross the stream.
Rewind.
See, I'm trying to remember the existing technobabble for what laws of physics each of the different kinds of subspace have, and I'm struggling.
So am I at the moment, actually. Never mind. Claude space. Everything is Claude space.
Yeah, and if
think
it
it's
isn't,
not-
it should be.
I think it's one of the big bad ones, like null space or void space, or one of those ones.
The warp?
Oh, let's not.
We don't-
Let's
we
not.
don't-
Our first cross franchise comment.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it is, but there we are.
We're not allowed to talk about that one.
All right, I'm going to quickly, while this puzzling state of affairs is going on, I'm going to quickly dip us back towards sickbay, where Ensign Edwards and Dr. Bertram are currently stuck in sickbay, having locked themselves in and basically tied a power conduit up to the door so that the intruders can't get in. You're aware that somebody tried to, because you heard a crackle and a snap and the sound of somebody hitting the floor, so you're fairly sure that somebody tripped your trap and it worked. That's when you hear a good deal of commotion going on outside. And that's when... let me find... The lights in sickbay and the power to the biobeds goes off. Emergency lighting clicks onwards, but the power goes out. At which point you can now hear folks prying at the doors.
Are they sort of prying? Does it sound like they're prying with physical strength, or are they using some technology to cut their way through?
They're not trying to cut their way through, but they're obviously they're pulling apart the doors.
Is it a possibility to use the hand phaser to more or less weld the doors close?
You can try, but that'll take time, and they've already got fingers in the gap.
Shoot the fingers, Edward style.
I was actually thinking, I was like, I'm tempted to like, look to the doctor as like, given this
Doctor is
current
not gonna-
situation.
The doctor's not going to object to you shooting the people trying to burst in and potentially harm his patients. Self-defense is not something the doctor will berate you for.
That's
Yeah.
consent from a superior officer. Let's go for it. Hands.
Control and security check. Difficulty 2, usually. This is going to be a narrow shot, so it's difficulty 3. I'm going to take the game off. Pause. You don't, I believe, have any focuses that apply to firing a phaser, so
Permission to use a momentum.
Do folks want to let him use a momentum to defend himself and the sickbay crew?
I'm fine with it.
All right then.
I'm trying to think. You said we could use determination depending if it's on the goals of the mission. I was trying to remember what the goals of the mission were. It was just R&R, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
Pretty much, but it's...
Is this preventing you from getting rest and relaxation?
It's very much not at the moment. I haven't updated the directives either, because that was the directives you were given initially. Was that, but it's definitely become a case of investigate the anomaly. But those are some fancy snacky dice. So
I can't believe that.
near miss. Wrong way, man. So that was you trying to fire at somebody else. That was you trying to fire at somebody else. I got the thing the wrong way around. So the doors are wrenched open. One guy wrenches open one door, one guy wrenches open another. Edwards lets loose a shot, and then guys storm in with disruptors held up. Phaser down! Everybody on the floor now!
Okay. What Bertram's gonna stand up and goes, "You are attacking sick and injured people. You will leave this place, and you will not endanger any further people that are under my protection."
Well, you're gonna get a clout for that one, I'm afraid. Alright, 2 successes. The Doc can try his own daring and security attempt if he wishes to try and defend himself.
Can I take it in it sort of like kind of slap him with a dose of Bertram moss?
Did you have
moss to the
moss
face?
on your person?
I've got 2 doses apparently.
It's
I always have
not
some
his
moss
pocket.
on me.
He never takes it out of his pocket. He
It was this
fixes
morning's
it.
lecture.
He takes it, okay, from the center guy who smacks him across the side of the head with his the butt of his disruptor. Bertram throws a patch of moss.
Yeah.
At which point the guy just looks down and goes, "Ha!" Tries to brush it off, and then of course the little feelers are going out, and he's going, "Oh, it's got me!" But the others are now filing in. There's more, and they're basically... They got disruptors pointed at Edwards, they've got disruptors pointed at the guys behind you. Are you going to continue filling the doorway, or are you going...
Yeah, no, Dr. Bertram is going to stand there. If they want to actually take him down, then they can murder a superior officer and get the wrath of Starfleet on them. He's
At
not
which
going to lay
point-
down while they're threatening his patients.
As this guy kind of
Basically, what
jumps
he's doing
backwards.
is
Yes, go
hoping that his annoyance and sort of like trying to get the attention, and the fact that he is the senior officer there will focus their wrath and attention on him and not on the patients and staff.
I was going to say, while they're focusing on Bertram doing this, I want to see if I can sleight of hand my communicator. Just
These
to
guys
hide-
are watching you, this guy is watching them, this guy and this guy are watching Bertram, this guy is watching the guys behind you. But what drags your attention and Bertram's is that they part for this very young looking Orion with some intricate tattoos over his face, but more prominently is the sword tattoo down his right eye, which I haven't represented here, of course. This guy, he's wearing... He's not exactly... Orions are not known for their dress sense, as it were, but they are known for their body ornamentation. And this guy has got a fair amount of it, but he's also got the swagger that seems to indicate that he's the guy in charge, and he's wearing a very cocky smile as he just draws himself up to Bertram with a grin on his face. You're sassy. I like it. Sassy Starfleet. That's novel. So very novel. Nice. So he looks around. Who's the boss? Come on,
That's
haven't
the
got
last
all
bit,
day. Who's the boss here?
Matt, I legit... Oh, right. I will ride up to him and say, "I'm the chief medical officer."
Nice. So you're the chief. Excellent. Garn. He directs to the lieutenant to his left. Shoot that one. Points at Edwards. Guy draws his disruptor pistol. Manages to hit Edwards for 4. Edwards just takes the shot in the shoulder and kind of falls down. Okay, he indicates to one of his guys. Take that one over there with them. So these two manhandle Edwards in this direction before kind of just letting him drop down on the floor. And Nurse Jenica behind kind of kneels down and pulls Edwards to her in order to check his wound, and then the Orions just kind of stand too. Okay, says the leader. Now you know I'm serious. Let's start things, shall we? Come on in, Doc. Into your office. You and I have got to have a chat. And he starts walking. Yep.
You know, with the whole thing of reappearing back on the bridge, obviously the bridge crew know that there's still Orions on board and that they were attacking this point. Could Andrews, Claw, and some of the other security ones, like, because obviously Nova and Faznan have dealt with their bit as well.
Yep, I was about to get to you. This is all kind of happening within a short space of time. I was just about to get to you, so thanks for nudging me to make sure.
Sorry, no worries.
So basically, the Orions are now fanning out. They're covering the remaining hostages. This guy is waiting here, indicating that Bertram should really follow the younger guy who's heading into Bertram's office. These guys have closed the doors and are just staying either side of the door, so I am going to assume that Bertram is going to follow.
Yep.
Cool. So I'm just going to stick Bertram in Bertram's office, and we will continue this scene momentarily. However, I'm going to duck us quickly back to the bridge.
Yeah, so I assume that Andrews and Claw have no recollection of getting back to the bridge, because obviously we were down on engineering deck.
And coming onto the bridge at that point, because they were called recall, are Fazanan and Nova, who are coming back from primary computer control. Back on. Sorry, go on. Yes.
Fazanan does a double take when he sees Nova, because he lost Nova in the corridor somewhere.
And Nova apparently turned up somewhere behind him without him realizing she was there. Nova herself looks a bit... Exactly. But Nova herself is like a bit... Oh. So this is where the voice was leading me, kind of thing.
And with the blow and drum still trying to follow it.
It's at this point, just as those two arrive back on the bridge, that Natala's sensors give another notification insofar that the Klingon ship has now been snared by this odd tractor beam, and both ships are now being apparently drawn towards the anomaly. And that's when I'm going to ask everybody to do the Star Trek shake with me as the ship rocks from another impact. Do it actually in your chair, do it with your character token, do it with your mouse cursor for all I care. Everyone give me the Star Trek shake.
It's far easier when you're in a rocking chair.
So everyone is rocking on the screen except Andrews.
Apparently everyone's selected.
Either way, the ship rocks once again, so I'm gonna knock off a point of threat, and I am gonna roll for where the next system gets hit. Let's see where we go. Structure! Oh dear. Right then.
Not even got all the power working yet.
Yep. So whenever the structure gets hit with a breach, which it just has, the entire ship shakes. And so we got to roll a challenge die, and if we get an effect, then somebody somebody has actually taken... Thank goodness. Nobody got injured. But the Navis has now taken another point of structural damage, so if I can just get to the ship... Navis has now taken another structural breach. Your scale is 5, which means you're now over half. What was that, Sean?
I was hoping with Karagite Heroes.
You're very quiet.
Yeah, I couldn't quite make that out, Sean. Could you tell me that again?
I tried to cancel that with Karagite Heroes.
Try to cancel with something.
Use the Karagite Order of Heroism to try and stop the breach.
Cool. Let's do that then. So let's keep structure at 2. So, there we are. Thanks to one of Nova's ward. And Sean's quick remembering of it. The ship shakes, some power conduits blow, a couple of minor fires spark, but overall, the damage is minor.
Now the cost for using the
pylon was held together with bungee cords.
The cost for using that Order of Heroism can either be, was it 2 momentum or 1 threat?
So which would you rather? Would you rather cost yourselves the momentum or give me 1 threat?
Complication, so you can have that.
Okay, spooky. Suffer a complication to ignore one of those breaches. Okie dokie day. Alright.
Oh, don't tell me Mr. Minoko gets spaced again.
No.
He loses another arm.
His pub is held together with bungee cords. It's been novaed.
Alright, and that's when a notification comes over the comms. Lieutenant Bravo to the bridge. I've managed to repel the Orion intruders at the transporter room. We've got quite a few in custody. But when the ship impact happened, there was an explosion in the transporter room. Lieutenant Latude is fine, but he tells me that the transporters have just gone offline.
Surely we have more than one transporter room. Come on, Latude, work better.
With all due respect, Commander, it's the system that's gone down, not just my transporter room.
Mr. Tude, do you still have active annular confinement? Could you use the annular confinement beam without having to get the full transporters back online?
I would have to do an inspection of the system, Commander, to be able to answer that question.
In the event that you can't get the whole system back online, I would say prioritize that one.
I will roger that. Commander, this is Bravo again, and Captain. My security teams are reporting that one group of Orions has slipped past us, and I got crew members reporting that somebody's trying to break into environmental control. If you could send someone down to environmental control now, that would be really handy, because I'd like to be able to continue to breathe. So, who wants to go down to environmental control and beat up some Orions?
Well, we still know that there is the group that was attacking sick bay as well before we lost all the internal.
Yes.
So we need to split again. Come on, why doesn't he have a flipping enough? You know, there's more than just the personnel on the bridge, right?
I've got 3 teams reattaching bungee cords and power cables.
Right, who else have we got on the bridge? Is Mineo around, or is he on holiday? The Teak is with
Bravo, yep.
Bravo.
You spent all your crew points on Claude? Well, yeah.
we
May as well use him.
Okay, I think, do we want to send Nova and Cabal and Andrews and Claw on separate routes again?
But meet at the same place?
No, I was thinking is that...
Or send one set to sick bay and send one set to environmental control.
Right, Okay, Gene's on board. Right, Captain needs to take the flipping tactic. Right, Gene, Eric, send Gene with someone as well. Because he's got 4 on security.
Okay, so who do you want to go where?
I mean, it could just be send Claude and Andrews. Yeah, they're probably the main ones to lead each room. So who do you want on your team?
Alright, well, Fazlan's pretty beefy.
And
Yeah,
let's not
Fazlan's
forget
got
that
5 on
Nova
security.
was hurling guys around like nobody's
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
So
Nova would pipe up that we might have food as potential
break-
with it.
You are breaking up tonight, Sean. Like, really
So-
quite badly.
it's not so much that you're breaking up. I can hear you. We just lose the end of your sentence for some reason. So, what was the plan as far as Nova's concerned? Oh, or are we trying something different? Or are we typing? Muted himself. Okay, so who do we want to go where? Final decision.
Right, so if Nova's saying that there's potentially a psychic entity, we'll take Fazanan and Jean. And then Andrews and Claw again.
All together going to do environmental control, or splitting up and...
I still think splitting and then asking I forgot his name. Bravo needs to split, send additional personnel to each location as well.
Okay. So that still begs the question of where each team is going.
So when the environmental control turns into a highly toxic environment and environmental controllers want to do, which of those two teams is best?
Claw's probably the best one to send to environmental, so... Does he
So-
breathe? I mean, he's Rockman.
I presume he's got some sort of organs.
Yes, indeed. He still needs to eat and
Yeah,
process and all
I'd
that.
say out of the ones, it's actually I've still got the breathing mask because Claw collected one.
Yes, you do. That's a good point.
There we go. So yeah, Andrews and Claw will go to environmental, and then if Fazanan and Jean are happy to go to sick bay. And ordering Bravo to get some additional support into both locations.
Do we have an armory? And did they try and attack the armory?
You do have an armory, and so far it doesn't look like they've tried, but they are breaking into several groups. So
Vibers to torpedo control. Is there anybody there?
why
Fire
are you-
torpedoes. Fire torpedoes at Medbay.
And
Please don't.
so you're sending Val and Jean, Mr. Eric, to sickbay. Righty-ho. Cool beans. Right. So I am going to let's see. Who to do first?
Before everyone splits off into go different places,
Mhm.
is there anyone who it is vital isn't allowed to go on any more of these intertemporal jumps? Is there anyone who it's absolutely a must couldn't be allowed to continue, not necessarily knowing when they are?
You've spotted so far. At the moment,
And
things
that was
seem
said- that
to
was-
happen.
That was also said aloud to the bridge.
At the moment, these weird time-related shenanigans seem to happen, and then people seem to break out of them and come back to the present, as it were. Excuse me. But okay, so one group's going one way, one going another. And yes, for those who are remaining on the bridge as both groups kind of peel off in order to go to their respective locations, you've noticed that the Klingon ship has also been caught in the pole. Right, yes. Another alert noise as the deck plates shimmy and shake below your feet. So folks who are not already sitting down have to brace themselves against a panel or a bulkhead for support. The ship starts to make alarming sounds as if as the hull plates shift and sway against each other. But then, without warning, the shaking stops, as if the ship has glided to a gentle stop. On the main view screen, you can see that both your ship and the Klingon warship have drifted closer together and towards the singularity. And sensors can now confirm that the two ships have moved to a perfect balance point between known space and the aperture. Almost as if someone had cut out a section of space and left nothing in its place. No stars, no light, no spatial body of any kind, just swirls of tetrions, gravitons, and, for the empathic and telepathic amongst you, a strange sensation of expectation? So, with that in mind, let us jump very quickly to sickbay. So, I want to focus very much on the fact that now Dr. Bertram is in his office with the apparent leader of the Orions, who is just kind of now casually leaning on the desk as Dr. Bertram is currently sat in his seat in front of his array of screens. The Orion captain has kind of got his hand. The hand that's leaning on the desk is also the one that's got his pistol. So, Doc, you know what I always like about you Starfleet doctors is that you're dependable. Now, you surprised me there with the whole Defiance Act. I mean, I always pictured most Starfleet doctors as the whole Hippocratic Oath, and I will not lift an arm to harm others, but whatever was in that green stuff that you threw at my guy, you're sassy. Like I said, I like it. So, I'm going to tell you how it is, see, Doc. Now, like I said, Starfleet are so very dependable. You've seen one Starfleet ship, you've seen them all. Guys like me who have done this kind of thing numerous times on Starfleet ships, you guys are so wonderfully dependable and repeatable that a guy like me can just stroll around a ship and know exactly where he's going. So imagine my surprise when, even when there's a full security lockdown that I've learned how to get through, you guys have come up with some kind of weird and wonderful, against regulations, lockdown system. I mean, it's amazing. Guys, you guys are innovative, Matt says, hitting his own microphone. So, here's my problem, Doc.
Give your compliments to my report after all this.
You're funny, Doc. You're funny. I like you. You see, here's my problem. See, I can't get past this annoying little security buffer you've got between me and taking over the ship. And so I think to myself, where's the place that I can make these guys see the most sense and get someone who will just do the sensible thing and surrender? And I thought, sickbay. So, all I need you to do is just put in whatever command codes you need on your console right there in front of you, and for the lockdown, just this station, just let me access your main computer.
as this is standard regulations, we both know what the answer is, but I still have to ask. You understand, for completeness stuff, it's very big on that. I'm sure you understand. So can we quickly go through the punishment for, when if I say, what if I don't do it?
Oh,
I hope you
Doc.
understand me asking.
You really don't want me to... Okay, fine. Grex! The lieutenant comes back. Boss? Pick another one and shoot one of them, will you? Anyone in particular? One of the nurses.
So, while this is happening, can Cabal and
Yes.
Jean be moving up?
Matt,
Yes.
when basically what Doctor's doing, when he's given the command, the Doctor's could be looking at the new screen with the time, like a chronometer or clock or something, and then as soon as the guy looks back in, he quickly looks away from it and back towards him.
I'll tell you what will also happen. What will be worth happening. Everybody's suddenly moved. Don't know how that happened. Let's move folks back.
Tried to move.
That wasn't me.
You tried to move one, you moved everybody.
That was me. I didn't realise it selected everyone. Again, it's when it's jumping,
Yeah.
or some reason I select everyone.
Okay.
Wasn't it?
So, yes, Fazanan and Eric are moving up towards sickbay, and of course the first thing to notice is that sickbay's doors are closed. And you can hear conversations going on the other side. But before you decide what you want to do, I'm going to quickly jump back to Bertram, who, as he's looking down at his computer monitor to try and get an idea of the chronometer, Bertram notices that on his hip, the moss that he used, it's back.
So I got 2 doses again.
And there is that disruptor on the table right there.
Okie dokie. Is the guy still looking, given the order?
He's still looking, given the order.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to ignore the DM hit. Yep, I'm going to flick the Bertram. If I can differentiate them, the other Bertram Moss thing, just in case some weird timey thing causes it to disappear again.
Right.
But yeah, I'm going to flick it onto the disruptor.
Cool. He doesn't seem to have noticed. Meanwhile, Edwards. Right, so Edwards is still nursing a stinging shoulder from a disruptor blast. And Nurse Jenica is doing her best to give it some attention, but she's not allowed near her instruments by the guards who are watching everybody. Who did we just lose? Sean? Sean's
Jumped
jumped
to
into
the ready room.
another...
Just jumped into the ready room.
Yeah, he's jumped into the channel to try and see if he can get this to work properly.
Right.
Edwards suddenly hears a voice that nobody else seems to have noticed. Son, if you're really going to be playing with technology, don't leave the stuff that you've been working on around near where I can trip over it, please. Edwards realizes he's suddenly got the sonic stun gun in his hand. Luckily, it's the hand that's angled away from the Orions. Caval, you are outside of sickbay.
I tell generic. He opens the door. I charge in. He mops up anything I leave behind.
Righty. Jean's like, you want me to go in first, sir? Really?
No, you open the door. I charge in, and you mop up.
Right. Sorry. Okay. So, Eric goes into the nearby security panel. Actually, no, he's going on security. Then they've got those suction cup things that you attach to doors to pull them open really quickly. So he pulls one out, attaches it to the door, clicks down the suction so it's got latch. It's locked onto the door and gives Caval a nod. So, a number of things are probably all going to go off at once here. So, I'm going to give you guys the benefit of the element of surprise. First thing that's going to happen then is Eric opens up the door and there's a pair of Orions who spin round because they were paying attention to what their boss was saying to the lieutenant. So these guys were not covering the door as they should have been, which gives Caval the ability to act first.
I shall use a minor action to step in, and I shall attack one of the Orions.
Now, attacking one is going to be obviously a daring and security check. Attacking both of them at the same time will up the difficulty from 1 to 2, because they don't get to fight back because they're surprised.
Cabal got this.
I hope. I've been talking a big game.
We believe in you.
Cabal just comes in with his Ushantor and just slits the throat of both of them in one motion. Just goes around and like, ha!
I shall use my value of looking for adventure.
All right, no, I'll go with that. He's a pilot. He's a jockey. He's an adrenaline seeker. He's never done this before.
I just realised one of your values is greater good. No greater good.
Is that too? Greater good must acknowledge individual suffering. So it's not literally the greater good, but it's got something to do with that. But yes, Caval has never done this before, so it's a good opportunity to use a determination.
You know how a Cabal has the occasional blackouts trait? It would be horrific now if Matt used that threat that we gave him.
Or if you got a complication and it triggered that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I shall use a focus and a determination. And now that I've been scared by that, I shall use my Legion of Honor.
Yes. Smart.
I think that'll do it. Right.
So you may either gain 2 bonus momentum or ignore a complication. Since you haven't suffered a complication, you can gain 2 bonus momentum on a successful task. That is 4 successes, 2 over what you needed, so you've actually gained... Actually, before I put all that back, so you can either... Now you've essentially gained... What was it? I said it was 1, it's gone off to 2, you got 2 over what was needed, but you earned 2 above that, so you've got 4. So you can either put all 4 back into the momentum pool, or split it however you want between giving some to the momentum pool and adding some to damage, or you can put it all in damage, especially because you're attacking 2 guys.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to put it in damage.
So, Ushantor and an extra 4 dice afterwards.
This is where he rolls sort of like 4 6s straight after it as well.
Well, it was a good thing he gets to roll 4 because he's only got 1, 2, 3, 4 so far. 5, 6, and 2 effects, which means it's 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he doesn't do bad. He doesn't take them both out in one shot, but what he does do is knock them down pretty dang far. So yeah, Caval and comes in swinging. Yes, the Orions look very alarmed. You guys have still got the advantage of surprise. Does Edwards want to use this opportunity to use the sonic gun that's appeared in his hand?
Yeah, he's going to wait for them all to basically look away, or he's get by the kerfuffle that
Right, you're going to
is
wait for them to
creating.
turn their backs. Okay,
Pretty
so
much,
wait for this
and
to
he's
go
going to see if he
out.
can. He's going to see if he can overcharge it to just about below lethal. He really doesn't like it, these Orions. Or
Right, in
Orions
that
general.
case, I'm going to ask you to use this surprise round, as it were, to give me a control and engineering check. I'm going to spend a threat because to up. I am going to.
That's what I was trying to aim for.
I'm going to make this have a complication range of 1 higher than usual because, obviously.
He said, I don't want to kill them, but he just wants to make sure they'll drop in one go. 'Cause last time, they didn't. So he just wants to fine-tune it to the point where it will push it, but not kill them.
Nice.
Now's not the time to meddle with the weapons.
Or it's the
And,
perfect time to meddle with things.
All these people unconscious, some of which very close to dying on on their beds, and Edwards just vibrates their skeletons. My skeleton!
Only if they're facing it, and I do believe, because it was for engineering, could I use that?
Sure. Single focus the character benefits that relates to a scientific or engineering field for which they earned the award, which was communications.
It is.
It's
We
technically
use
communications. We've
communication
established
built
that before. So yeah. Justified. Allowed.
That's so I use a determination, and
Oh, it was nearly a 20. It was nearly a 20. But no, 6 successes. I put the difficulty in my head as 2. So you got 4 more than was necessary. Those bring your momentum pool back up to full. But I do believe, because Edwards...
Can he
Actually,
not
we don't need
stack
to do it,
into-
don't we?
Yeah, can he not stack it into damage like Cabal did?
He's not actually firing the thing yet, is the problem. This was him modifying it, so that it will
That's the
have more on.
yeah, it was the changing on the fly in split second while they're turning around.
So, I am just going to start adding folks into initiative, the ones that will be taking part in it at the very least. Let me group the Orions together. Right, so that's... Let me make sure I've got everybody. We don't need to worry about the order too much. Right, so... that's... not a bad order, although... who would you rather go first? I mean, we could swap Bertram and Edwards around. Like that. Folks can see the combat tracker. Are they alright with that order, or would you rather a different one?
I can't see the combat tracker. Who should it be?
It's the crossed swords at the top of the
Alright.
chat column.
Yep,
if you
I see it.
right-click it, it brings up its own little window that you can
Cool.
put anywhere
Yep, I
you
see
like.
it.
So-
I'll be alright with that.
You're alright with that? Okay.
Well, I am, I should say. I don't know if anyone else wants to change it.
I can still change it if folks want me to. No? Okay. Sorry, go.
We could always swap Edwards and generic.
If you want. Although Alex said Edwards was going to wait until their attention was turned, so
Yeah, probably actually be after them then. So they're going to act and move in. So
deliberately reorder it to be more like that. Okay. All right. Okay, that's fine. Unless in that case, Gareth, do you want Bertram to do anything between the lieutenant and the privateers?
Get the combat guys go first.
Okay, fine, no problem. So, Val, he's made the opening move. Let's see if he can close it.
Yes, I shall use my Medal of Honor for
Aha.
more momentum. I shall also give you a point of threat to be able to reroll my my attack dice,
Taken. Okie dokie.
and I shall attack them too.
You can attack them both? Okay, well, and this time it's going to be one greater than their own daring and security check because they are going to be fighting back this time. I roll pretty poorly, so it's all of 1. So the injuries they sustained from the opening attack mean that they're completely ill-prepared for what's going to happen next, and yeah, Cabal keeps on swinging. 3 successes, 2 over what you needed.
The 17 I can re-roll, because that's a miss.
Yep. So go on then. And you gain 2 bonus on top of that, so... So what you actually got was 4 extra again. 5 extra. So, by all means, roll the Ushantor and add 5 more. Add 5 more. I should inflect that matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. My God, they are down and out. They are so down and so out. Swinging back and forth between each of them. They are both completely overwhelmed by Caval's
then I'll
awesome
just-
prowess. Yep.
Step forward.
This guy is unconscious on the floor. He appears to have what looks like an electricity burn. So he's already been taken out by the quick thinking of Bertram and Edwards. We are going to move to the captain. The captain takes a step and doesn't think that Caval's seen him, so he points his disruptor pistol and it goes click. And he pulls it to his, he puts it to his face, jigs it around a bit, tries firing again, realizing it's not happening, looks at the power pack and notices it's completely empty. Looks between Bertram and what's going on over there. Kind of backs himself up against the wall, see, in the hopes of avoiding a certain Andorian's attention. Meanwhile, Mr. Eric. Anybody want to offer what they think Mr. Eric, tactical officers, should do?
He was told to mop up, so go shooty shoot.
Cool. So who have we got? I mean,
Davis probably isn't going to roll for a while, or
yeah, I was going to say either Davis or Sean haven't rolled for a bit, so if either of you guys want to volunteer yourselves. I mean, Sean, how's the mic? I know you've muted yourself for the time being. Do you want to try again, or we communicate? No, unmuted yourself. Come in, Sean. Nope, remuted. I think problems tonight, sadly. Either way.
Right. Okay, so Mr. Eric.
Yes. Do you have access to him is my first question.
Yes.
Cool. Excellent.
throw your tricorder at them, Eric.
He's got a Type 2 phaser, he's fine.
He's had the head of Con and the lead piloting officer for the ship show him up, because this is how security's supposed to handle things. So he's going to try and copy.
He's going in hand to hand, just wailing.
Well,
No, he takes a step in and she phases and tries to shoot.
I don't know why I thought
Point
I
blank.
thought you were going to say he's going to go with the phasers and start pistol whipping people.
Well, from point blank range, it's quite hard to miss when you fire it when it's talking to one's ear.
I've now just see it now as sort of like Gene Eric's sort of like special skill is just pistol slap, pistol slap, just like the Doctor with judo chop. It's just
Right.
dear me. So who is he actually targeting?
The lieutenant, wouldn't it?
yeah, the lieutenants.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, go for the lieutenant.
Well, the
Two
privateers
successes.
are all unconscious.
Yeah.
Not all of them. This guy's still up.
Well, they're still up.
So that's 2 successes, bang on the money of what you need. So roll damage for the phaser, please. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because you didn't tune it to anything, no extra effects beyond that. But that was still 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not bad. That was a very telling shot. Oh dear. Someone sounds a bit upset.
rooting for the Orions.
Nevertheless, it's the Orion Lieutenant's turn. Get in here, guys! Let's see what's this guy got. Aha. As he draws... is he going to draw a dagger, or is he... Yeah, he's going to draw a dagger. He's going in against Cabal. So he's going to go for daring and security, and he's got hand-to-hand, so he's using a focus. And I roll poorly again. Double 19s, wow!
You know, if they were both one further double 20, he basically, you know...
I would have done a Dave,
stab
yes.
himself with it.
We call it a Dave maneuver, that one, the double 20s. Dave, if you're watching, you're famous now, remember that. 2 successes, so you get... Cabal manages to easily parry and riposte. This guy is trying to act tough and obviously knows what he's doing, but he's taken a phaser shot, which means his muscles are spasming a bit from his nervous system being temporarily disrupted. So his swings and his guard are not as good as they should be, so you can roll damage for the Ushan Tor and put in 2 extras. As we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whoa! For a moment, it's almost a fair fight. Either that or Cabal was just letting him think that he had a chance. But eventually...
Lure them in.
Exactly. Eventually, Cabal just catches the blade and lays him out. Lays the guy out. Who did we lose and or gain?
No, I've been a Sean coming back in.
Might have been a Sean coming back, okay. Hopefully we can get Sean with us today, but there we are. So now it's the other Orions. So yeah, these guys are peeling off to take. This guy's going to duck behind the bio bed. These guys are going to train their weapons. These guys are going to shoot. This guy... let me think. Taking on the Andorian in hand-to-hand with a bladed weapon seems ill-advised now, so... This guy's going to back up. And 2 are going to assist the other, so this is going to be control and security. Oop, no, not 2 dice. Okay, I'll do 2 dice for that guy, but then 1 dice for each of these. 1 success so far.
So who's trapped in sickbay now?
1 success. So yes, that was a shot, and that went. Even though there was 3 guys laying down fire, they were mostly firing random. Well, not randomly, but they were firing roughly and quickly without really aiming, looking like they were just trying to saturate the air with shots, but with the discipline that both Cabal and Jean have, it doesn't take much to dodge the incoming shots, so the Orions don't do themselves any favours there, but there are still these 2 guys up where Edwards and the other hostages are at, who are just sitting there ready, almost like they're on Overwatch, which leads us to Edwards.
Now, I have a question.
Yes.
What is the material actually used for the walls? Because I just realised this is a confined space, so depending on what the I'm going to be trying to get to about here and aiming it downwards to get everyone in the cone, that's potentially going to be going through the doors, depending on how
luckily for you,
it reverberates.
Luckily for you, the sound gun, the whole idea of area attacks in this is a bit. It's a bit non-specific, which we can use to our advantage here. So, your sound gun has got the quality of area. So, when you roll, if you manage to hit, which you should do, when you roll for damage, any effects will automatically add the area effect trait. But what Edwards has to do first is identify a group that he wants to hit, because your first target, with the area ability, you'll be able to target all adjacent. So, for instance, if you targeted this guy as your initial shot, then these two guys on either side would automatically qualify for the first hit. And so any effects you roll after that could add a further target. So you could then get that guy and or that guy if you rolled extras.
So would that be a better position then?
Alex's question does have a specific answer, but it won't be helpful to them because the bulkheads are normally made of titanium.
So the angle...
There is an answer.
Yeah. But the angle of the spread, as far as where your token is placed physically on the map, as it were, has as less bearing as than nominating your first target and going.
Okay, so yeah, the middle one.
So this is going to be a control and security attempt because it is an attack. The overcharge will be to do with damage, so we'll get to that when we get to that. But first, it's yes, control and security.
I'm tempted to say, could I argue a value? Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat this. This is going to be the second time this has been fired on his watch, but this time he's actually doing it.
Okay.
So he's trying to compensate for what went wrong last time when it didn't drop them all in one go.
Yeah, fine. I'm good with that. Good with that justification.
Yes, I'm pulling out all the stops. So I need to put something
That's
in
fine.
security.
That's fine. And you can
And
do
I'm
that
tempted
with,
to grab another momentum if I'm allowed one.
No.
We'll take that as a yes.
So anyway,
If we were at 6, we're now at 5. It's like...
Alright, so you got 2 successes, which basically
That was
was
terrible.
Yeah, that wasn't good. So it's not just me having bad rolls today. But that's still a hit, so you get to roll the damage and add an extra 2 damage dice to it.
What was the damage dice? It's wrong. It's click on the gun, isn't it?
Yeah, click on the guns icon. And then afterwards roll an extra 2d6. So, what we've got there is 1 and 1 effect. And an extra 1 and 1 effect. So, that's 1, 2, 3, and 3 effects for the gun. All of which, debilitating just means that they are hard to recover from after you run out of stress. But nonetheless, 1, 2, 3, each of them takes 3, but you also had 1, 2, 3 effects, which means you can target every single Orion in this room, albeit they all take 3. So let's just... I'm going to have to do this for each and every one of them, I'm afraid. But yes, they all clutch their ears as a subsonic assault hits them, distracting them all from what they were doing. Bertram! Right, Bertram's got an opening here, what's he want to do with it?
Judo chop.
First of all, I'm going to assume I was disarmed for the phaser I was carrying when they took me in. So you did specifically say it, but I am going to assume, unless you tell me that otherwise, and they did let me keep it for some reason.
I'm going to go with, this guy was so obviously overconfident, he would have overlooked it. And he didn't exactly give his guards time to frisk Bertram because they were so busy trying to secure the hostages, and then Vess himself came in and just started gloating over Bertram, so no attempt has been made really to disarm Bertram of his USB stick of a phaser.
Okay, in that case, I'm gonna pull the phaser out and sort of point it at him, and basically I'm going to try and actually, given how his guys are going down and Bertram's not the greatest shot of the phaser, I'm going to attempt to actually sort of like talking down, but slightly menacingly saying, You know, I'm very interested in what you said about being impressed how I didn't seem to adhere to the Hippocratic Oath. Basically point the phaser directly at him.
Very cleverly veiled threat. Nice.
Yeah. So
Not even
basically going
veiled.
up to the door, ready to hit him if he tries making a dash for it. So he's sort of like hopefully staggering a bit when the other two beat the crap out of him. But yeah, basically trying to talk him down into surrendering.
Alrighty. Round 2. Thazanam. It looks like a whole line of guys over here are all just a little bit stunned from some kind of sonic attack.
You know what Faznan's doing now?
A spear!
Yeah, just run in and just RKO the middle one. Or just clothesline all 3 of them.
Triple spear. Yeah. He'd already done a double spear, now he has to one-up himself once again.
Gene's just like, why was I on duty today? Jenny told me to stay on night shift.
I'm gonna be the ultimate opportunist here.
Spear.
Oh, I'll never believe this.
This is why he's making sure that all the cameras are watching him.
What? I can
This
do
one's for
combat.
you, Andoria!
That's fine.
From downtown!
I'm running out of stuff to use. I'll use the Starcross.
I'm waiting for Gene Eric to come up with a steel chair.
It's Gene Eric with the steel chair.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So
I'll tell you
double
what,
your
this has turned
focus
into a
range.
right
okay.
real slobber knocker here.
Starfleet, we don't use weapons, we just use our fists.
Double sledgehammer
So-
fist or nothing.
I'm basically,
Go on, Jan.
I'm basically going to try and entangle the 3 of them. So not so much inflicting damage, more of a takedown.
Ooh. Still going to be daring and security, but what you're doing is trying to use any effects you generate as a big knockdown, basically, and a pin.
I learned from Nova.
Yes, quite. Nova was the best teacher, and I mean that by that she's also simultaneously the worst, so it's kind of weird. They cancel each other out. Anyways,
Those were the best of days. Those were the worst of days.
let me just give the Orions their roll. Only 1, so poor as usual. So, yes, Caval's difficulty is now 3 to tackle all 3 of these guys. So,
That's harsh. Okay.
because it's 1, they've rolled 1 to resist. It's 1 extra for the second one, and another 1 again for the third one. So, 3
Alright.
successes needed, but you have doubled your discipline score here. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to grab a point of momentum, I think.
Yeah, you're allowed to.
Yeah.
That's a point. I forgot to roll my effect dice. Oh,
I'll
well.
roll it now then.
Yes. Do I give you threat or do I give us back some?
Nothing.
It's only if it's effect you get of a threat. If it's not, I get the equivalent back.
And
Momentum.
that dice had nothing on it. Nothing. 3 and 4 equals 0, so nothing happened.
Oh, okay.
So we are. Yeah, nothing happened. So you didn't get momentum, but you didn't give me threat either, so it's fine. Go for it, Jan. Let's see another epic an epic showdown. A 19, a 15, and a 2.
Just short.
Just short. So Cabal does manage to rush in.
Oh wait, sorry. 2. Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's just double. It's not the double value. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
2
sadly,
successes.
it's a 15 and a 19, so it's not much. But you did get 2, so you got something there. So you still technically got over what they had, but you weren't successful in getting all 3 of them. So I'm gonna let you roll unarmed damage, and we'll apply it to 2 of them rather than 3 of them. 1. Oh, that wasn't very much at all.
That's more the effects I'm going for.
Yes, so that guy gets knocked down. Let me tag him as prone. So the triple spear didn't quite work. 3, 2, 1. Spear! No, sadly. So he hits into them and he's tackled them. One of them falls to the ground. The others are still standing, but that was still an epic tackle. It's
I'm gonna have to ask Nova for some lessons.
Was that Dolph Ziggler selling that spear? It was, wasn't it? It looks like a Dolph Ziggler sell. Anyway. Ooh, what have we got? So, the chief, the Captain Orion, he looks at Bertram, he looks out into the corridor, and he just throws the disruptor down. Oh well, I'm afraid it's come to this, it seems. And then he clicks something in his palm, and a flash goes off, and I'm going to spend threat. A blinding flash and a clack goes off from something on the front of the Orion captain, and when Bertram's eyes come back into focus, a panel on the wall is open, leading to a Jeffries tube, and somebody seems to have escaped into the ship.
We send in the Nova to ferret him out.
Exactly.
Oh, flip! This ship doesn't have standard Jeffries tubes.
No, it doesn't. So he's in for a bit of a surprise.
Yeah,
You see, we wouldn't have this problem if you'd have let me put in a system to electrify the tubes.
10 years from now, we're doing retrofits and somewhere. We open up a panel, we just find this Orion skeleton. We're like, oh, forgot about him.
I wonder what happened to that guy. Body falls out of the jar. He belongs
Commander,
to tubes.
the maintenance spots have brought you lunch. They say it's edible, but I don't know what it is.
It is meat.
It's now
They made
Jean's
it
turn.
themselves. Right.
So what does Jean want to do?
I think we let Gene have fun as well. He can go.
He gets a steel chair.
Yeah, he gets
Wow.
a steel
Jean
chair.
is going to.
Well, let me remind you of the options that can happen. If Mr. Eric takes a quick action a fast action, I should say, to tune his phaser, he can tune it to either gain the vicious quality or the area effect quality.
Yeah, but you shoot
someone in the face.
Yeah, he can just punch someone in the face.
Or he can
Just
just
sort of
punch
like-
someone in the face.
Max is like, please be interesting. No, I want
No,
the
that's fine. If you want to go full fisties, then
Right.
that's fine.
What
I need
he
to
is
word that
going
better.
to do is he's going to have a very unusual battle cry.
Cheese.
No, not the face.
Nope.
Spoon.
Spoon.
He's running into
The tick.
Space Bay yelling, activate the EMH.
Ah,
Does he know what
And
that is?
charging the thing. I don't even know if we got one,
you don't.
but they don't know that either.
So, right.
Activate emergency security hologram. ESH.
So he's going for a bluff. So this is going to be daring and command, I think, from Mr. Eric to try and create some kind of disadvantage for them.
I just want you to make a hard hologram Stone Cold Steve Austin for these combat moments now.
I'm already working on them.
That's kind of
Actually, since you said Stone Cold Steve Austin and gave us Randy Orton's theme music,
No.
No, he
John
gave-
Cena.
Yes, he gave John Cena. Was it?
John Cena's pardon.
No, that wasn't my mistake. That was his.
Yeah, because none of you do bowling with me and Sean, so you don't understand what the John Cena of it comes from.
When you
Except
get
those of
strike,
us
you
who have
can't
seen
see
John
you.
Cena wrestle.
No, it's
But
not
even
that.
then.
So I think
Alright,
one
so-
success probably wasn't enough for that.
Let's see if these guys buy the trick. They do buy the trick. So you've distracted. You've basically given these guys a disadvantage. So,
Then punched
yeah.
one of the right in the face.
Well, you.
Spend momentum.
The only way Eric gets to attack is if he spends a determination, and he has none because he has no value set at the moment. Because he's just an NPC.
He has no value.
He will after this.
He's not a supporting character as of yet. At the end of this, he probably will become a supporting character. So that will be the last one.
Well,
I think.
we've named him and everything.
Exactly. So he becomes he's currently crossing the Rubicon between just a background NPC and supporting character. So there we go.
Have you noticed that most of our supporting NPCs are like security based? We just keep adding in more and more security officers.
Don't get invaded.
No, it's fine. On our next mission, we need to embark the marine detachment that we've always had. Honest.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's going to get to the point where we're going to be like doing boarding actions led by Claude.
Let's see, it's their turn. These Orions don't technically know what's gone on, but now they've just seen two guys, and there was the activate emergency security hologram. So these guys are going to try and retaliate, but they're going to be doing it at 1 difficulty extra than they normally do. These three, I mean, that guy's down, so he's going to have to use a quick to pull back and another quick to stand up, which means it costs me a threat to do that. In order that he can get up and shoot, these guys are going to back off because, well, Fisticuffs isn't doing them anything. And I cannot... Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 extra. I'll decide what to do with the 1 extra after I just do control, security, 5 dice, roll. And only get 2 successes. They were aiming for Caval for this one. It's a disruptor pistol. Didn't get any extras, so Caval took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Combined fire lances out and hits Caval for 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So a rapid succession of shots come out and actually strike Thazanan. Thazanan uses whenever you suffer damage, halve it. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 9, so...
It's a lot faster than that.
Yeah, Thazanan's tough, man. Yes, taught him well, indeed. Well, yeah, quite. It was you that kept on finding these awards and using them, so... Yeah, Thazanan dodges a few, takes some, doesn't go down. These guys are getting seriously worried now. This guy is gonna aim for Edwards because he's got the gun, but he's also part distracted, so he's going to find it harder to shoot, so it's difficulty 3. He does not manage it, so it's a shot that goes wide. Pew! It's Edwards' turn.
Same target as before. I'm gonna grab another momentum.
Okay.
Control the security. Obviously, I can't use the determination again.
I can't remember if you can use your minor action to aim. You get a reroll on 1 to 20.
That's a good point. I don't think we've ever tried it.
Is it a thing?
Can be.
It is in Conan. I'm not sure about Star Trek.
I mean,
makes
they're
sense. I mean,
they're parallel. They're very close. They're hardly.
Game system-wise, they're parallel.
Sorry,
Yes.
I couldn't resist being the smart ass.
Let me have a look. Let me have a look. Where is actions? I mean, if anybody's on chat and knows the thing, feel free to jump in. Types of attack, actions during attacks. Right, so those are things you can spend momentum on, but actions during attacks. These are weapon qualities, improvised attacks. The trouble with the one complaint I do have about Modiphius' core rulebook, at least the original one, I don't know if they've fixed it since, is that it's very difficult to actually find what you want. It's sometimes things are scattered all over the place, so I can't find it. I'll just go with take the action. Yeah. Reroll a single d20 made on an attack before the start of your next turn. So yeah, use a fast action to aim, then use a slow action to actually do the thing, and you get to roll 1 dice. Reroll one of your attacking dice.
I've never actually used the reroll button. Would it reroll the lot, or do
you choose how many dice it rerolls? So you're fine. We'll go with that. That was only 1 dice you rolled for some reason?
I thought it was only reroll.
Yeah, you can reroll a single d20.
You can reroll a single d20. You haven't actually rolled your 2 d20 yet.
Yes.
Have you?
It's above.
Oh, there it
Control
is.
security.
Pardon me, it was 2. Pardon me, I wasn't looking. But you wanted to reroll 1, you chose to reroll 1, so it was a 14, but it's still nothing. So you still got 2, which was what you needed to hit that group. So once again,
Then add 2 again.
Yeah.
2d6. It's still charged.
3 with 1 effect, so 1 effect means you can add 1 extra guy. For 5, so it's 5, you can add 1 extra guy. The top guy or the bottom guy?
Guy that shot me.
Cool. So they all take, how much did I say? 5? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one hurt them more. Yeah. Some of them are starting to bleed a little bit out of the ears, but not so much that you think you've given them permanent hearing damage, just, you know. Bertram!
Okay, did you say the guy threw down his phaser, or?
Yes, he did.
His disruptor. Okay, I'm going to collect that, because I don't want a sample of Bertram Moss to be roaming around my office now, draining stuff.
Here, boy! Where'd you go?
Yep, so I'll pick that up on my way to the tubes. Has he already made enough progress that I can't see him anymore?
You certainly can't hear any sign of him his escape, so this guy's either very quiet or very quick, or a combination of both.
Okay. I'll start. Are the communications up if I try?
Yeah,
the
communications are up.
Okay. I'm going to pin the bridge and let them know the leader of this segment of the Orions who made escape sick bay seems to have gone into. Is it Jeffrey's tubes, the term?
Yep.
Yeah, Jeffrey tubes using the panel in my office. I'm also going to scan the entrance to see if I can actually pick up any linger traces that go in, just in case this is like a double bluff and he's escaped another route.
Right, so I want to make sure he is actually gone. Okay, cool, that's just control and medicine, please.
Okay.
Yeah, in this case, yeah, control medicine.
Yep.
Use your tricorder.
Is something like genetics helping me trying to get traces of Orion? Okay.
Is there anything in particular about this person that would help me find them on internal sensors?
Well, we'll get to that when we get to that. But for successes, the tricorder definitely reads that there's no life form in the Jeffrey's tube close to where you are, so he's definitely absconded. He's definitely gone.
Is there any traces to suggest that this was definitely the route that he took?
Well, it's the only one available to him, so yes, as far as you can tell.
Yeah, I was just hoping there's some sort of lingering traces of like a life form going this way in a hurry.
Right.
I'm covering my bases.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to
Especially
change the
escape during a time stop. So.
Good point.
You never know. He could use some sort of portable transporter, or even some bizarre tech that makes him invisible. He could be standing right behind me, ready to brain me.
And he's behind me, isn't he? Alright, let's go on to the third round. Cabal, you got shot a little bit, but toughing it out. These guys all seem to be on their last legs, as it were. They've been struck, they've been hit with sonic rays. They're all starting to waver.
If I'd better commander, I would order them to surrender, but it's not really my forte.
I do my Starfleet promotion schedules.
I think I'll just take on one of them. Step forward with my shunter.
All right.
Second one.
Against this guy's daring insecurity, so you're fighting against. I'm starting to roll better, it seems. 2 successes. So,
I'll
got a beat
give
to
you a point of threat just to allow me a reroll.
Cool, cool. Those are good rolls too. 2 successes. So, if you re-roll the 17,
yeah.
if it gives you another one, you're golden. It does give you another one. So yes, Cabal succeeds with the 1 over what he needed. So he can, you can either add that 1 back to the momentum pool or spend it on damage, extra damage.
I'll add it to the pool.
Okay. That goes back into the pool, and you've got 7 and 3 effects. Oh, that goes down. He is down and down again. Nice. So, Cabal moved, Cabal hit, so that's fast and slow. It's their turn. Oh, these guys really don't like taking on this guy in combat, so... he's backing off. These two are going to try and shoot Eric. So I'm going to roll 3 dice, because there's 2 of them doing it. They get 4 successes. So not only do they shoot him, they get an extra 2 to damage. And 2 extras. But I got nothing, so that's just 3, 6. So, yeah. Luckily, Eric's is really tough. He's really very tough. Okay, so that's
tough and tactical.
We do. Apparently we do. This guy was taking on Cabal using a knife. Jenny will be disappointed. I don't know. He took 2 Whoa! He complicated. He rolled a 1 and a 20. So I got both sides of the equation. So, this guy... what shall I do with that complication? I will eliminate a success so that Cabal has got to equal or exceed 1 success. And wouldn't you know it, he exceeds. So, yep, Ushantor damage plus an extra 1, or you can add the 1 to the momentum pool. Which meant 3, 5. You got nothing but effects.
I'm sorry.
You're really not. That was very much not sorry. Ding, ding, he attacked you. Cabal parried and riposted and put him down. Which leaves this guy. What's he gonna do? Shooting Edwards didn't seem to do any good. He's gonna try and wrestle the stun gun from Edwards' grasp. So this is daring and security. But Edwards gets to do daring and security as well to resist. I got 3!
Yeah. No momentum, because why not? So I have a whole 8 to get under.
Oh, look at that!
Ooh.
Look at that! Alright, so...
I still didn't beat him, but close.
You didn't, but he manages to eventually grab it off you, but he's... you know, he fell back to do it. He had to put his weight into it, and so he's fallen back on his butt to try and yank it off of you. So you do have that going for you. Eric! Gene! He took 2 disruptor hits and is still standing.
I can do that too!
Now, if he spends a If he spends a fast action, he can retune the phaser to either do vicious to do extra damage or area to hit more than one.
He does get a fast and a slow, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Right, in which case, tune the phaser to area
Right.
and shoot all 3 of them.
Cool, cool. So you can target probably these 2 initially, and any effects mean you can target the other one that's got the sonic stun gun, or the sonic. So this is control and security. Let's see if we can finish him off. 1 success. Miss.
No, I need clock powers.
So
I
he
missed the button.
tries the wide beam, doesn't get it. Oops, pardon me. Edwards. We could just try and chonk the guy at this rate. Or
I used to have my
Nurse.
phaser.
just use your fast action to pull out your phaser and shoot at point blank range. Yeah. Control and security difficulty 2. Come on, come on! We rolled an extra one there.
I dabbed momentum.
You grab momentum. Cool. 4 successes, 2 over what you needed. You can either
Go
put
into
those
damage.
2 into damage, put them into damage. Nice, nice, nice. Roll damage for the phaser and add an extra 2. So. One, 2, 3 is enough to render him unconscious. Stun shot at point blank. Nicely done. Whoops, not that guy. Meant to hit that guy. Boing. Alrighty then. Bertram's turn. It's pretty much academic at this point.
Yeah, I'll check his disruptor to make sure that basically the moss is safely contained and there's no unnasty surprises like some remote explosive feature or something like that.
Nothing like that, and even if there was, it's been completely drained of energy, so it's got nothing to actually power such a thing with.
Yep.
And it's at this point that the Orions surrender. They realize they are outmatched, and the 2 of them are now outnumbered, so they put their weapons down. So the situation in sickbay has been contained. Nice. Stop the ambience. And I'm going to move us now quickly back to the bridge. So, while that's been going on, and folks have been hearing over comms that exchange happen, and it's been quite fraught, but for the most part, everybody's relieved to hear that the situation has been resolved. So, let's see. Back on the bridge. Everybody give me the Star Trek shake. As the ship takes another impact, I am going to spend another threat in order to make it hit. So let's see what... Whoops, it is not that one. I want to see which system gets struck this time. Communications. So communications takes a breach, which just means that communications is damaged, and until it's restored, it won't be able to be used.
Does that mean it goes down during Bertram calling up to the bridge to tell us what's going on with the guidance period event?
Just about, yes. So communications suffers 1 breach, as possibly the
Message doesn't go through.
the message
I think
probably
we're
only gets
talking
half
to you
through.
while you get cut off.
Yeah.
Right.
Bertram, to bridge the situation in sickbay, has... Just leave them hanging.
that case, Bertram would probably be trying to get the security officers to help him try and actually chase after the guy if the ship isn't able to know it's there.
Yep, at this point I would say we'll do the better late than never thing that the security team that Bravo sent to back up Cabal and Eric has arrived now, and they're going to secure the Orions and take them to the brig. However, another wave of something slams into the ship and rocks everybody from in their seats.
Perhaps if we're going to close this subspace rift, we're going to need a large source of gamma radiation. I can't think of one that we can spare.
Can I get Natala and anybody who wants to assist, including the ship? Natala can give me a reason and science using... We'll keep quantum mechanics. If Nova wants to assist, or even Hello wants to assist, that's fine. But the ship also gets to assist, so, Navis can be the ship.
Is
It's
this
his
something I've rolled for something similar to previously?
The sensors and science for the ship, please. If Nova's helping, then it's going to be reason and science for Nova too. Ooh, and Natala was spent a determination?
No,
Or
there's
bought an extra dice.
presuming testing a theory.
Oh, testing a theory, of course. Oh, Hello is assisting. Okay.
Bam, 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 bam.
So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whoa, that is way over what was necessary. So that that momentum pool gets filled right up again. Okay. The graviton pulses that are emitting from the anomaly are actually starting to have... They're strong enough now that they're starting to have an effect on the outermost planet of the Hefner system. The pulses have impacted the orbital inclinations of the 2 moons of the planet and have altered their elliptical orbits. With those extra successes that you've earned there, you get the additional information that the moons have shifted in their orbits sufficiently that they will destabilize and eventually crash into the planet, causing an extinction-level event. Likely a planet-destroying effect when the second moon hits. To make matters worse, the data suggests that the graviton pulses are increasing in intensity and frequency, therefore both the Navis and the D7 Klingon ship are stuck directly at ground zero. So...
on top of which, that planet is going to have an extinction level event in the next 6 months if there's no more waves. Another wave? I can't tell you how soon it's going to be, but do we can't really spare the warp core. Could we steal the Klingon ship's one while it still has one?
What do you want to do?
We need a massive pulse of gamma radiation to close a rift when we're ready to close the rift.
Antimatter detonation be good enough.
Not quite, unless we can make it into an isolytic reaction. We have a catalyst.
Well, if you... let me think.
But yeah, the easy solution is big old blast of gamma radiation, which normally means a ship's drive.
You need me to blast the... Right, you need me to run the ram scoops in reverse. And blast it full of plasma.
Yeah, that might do it.
We need to tow home, but it'll be doable. Well, we've got impulse drive, we should be alright to get back to the planet.
That's the purely scientific solution. If there's anything that The telepaths and that were on about something else, but
Indeed, yes. There's still the point of these strange occurrences and the apparent intelligence potentially behind it. You do also have a problem that the Klingon ship is pretty badly beaten up, and it was already beaten up to start with. So they've suffered. The Klingon ship has suffered a lot more than you guys.
I mean, if their ship isn't going anywhere anyway, and there's pretty much no one on board at this point, maybe that drive is the more expendable.
Wait a minute.
How do you know there's no one on board just because they've sent a boarding party over here?
I saw a lot of
Don't
bodies in
count.
space. I saw a lot of bodies in space. They count.
Nova, you're our ship expert.
Fair.
What's that? What's a D7 armed with? Is it the? I'm wondering if that thing's got plasma torpedo setups.
Nova would be able to tell you that they don't use plasma torpedoes, they used photon torpedoes.
Photon torpedoes are matter-antimatter reactions, just what you're talking about. But as
We
I say,
also have a very large torpedo rack, so
yeah,
we can just shoot them.
ours are kind of the wrong kind because it is. If we wanted an antimatter matter explosion, their torpedoes are probably the correct kind of torpedoes for this situation. I'm just racking my brain for potential catalysts. Hang on, at this point, that would be an explanation for why we're behaving the way we're behaving when it comes to temporal anomalies. If effectively all the affected people are more or less at this point isolated catalysts.
Yourself into the anomaly, see what happens. Sorry.
How many dead Klingons, Orions, basically people who've been through the effects that we've been through, but are no longer living, are there around, either on the ships or in space?
The number of bodies in the debris was around about 24. The number of dead Orions on board that you've currently got are significantly less in number, since most of them have just been plain old beaten up.
Basically, Natala's currently going through pretty much just, yes, it's war crimes, but bodies that are effectively acting as subspace beacons in normal space could potentially be, temporary isolated catalysts. Temporary isolated catalysts plus the Klingons' photon torpedoes equals basically the ability to manipulate our own gateways to subspace. We
Okay.
can punch our own hole through it rather than relying on the anomaly. And then large pulse of gamma radiation, either from reverse ram scoops and empty our warp core down the tube, or blow up the D7's warp drive.
Either way,
And-
it sounds like you still need someone to go over to the D7 to make whatever modifications
To their torpedoes.
to
At
their
the very
torpedoes
least.
and/or eject their core.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
going to need to be
Or
an
both.
away team. So, I suppose it's time to figure out who. Well, if there are indeed, if that's your intention, then you're going to need an away team to go over to the Klingon ship.
It's hard to arrange that when security are on different decks and our communications are down.
Yeah, you might have to limit it to whoever's on the bridge at the moment, but we'll see how we do.
It's
But-
amazing how well this cannon string goes to do engineering.
I,
For the
I
moment,
guess
then.
I'm volunteering for an away mission. Hooray! Who wants to come with me?
So, who does Natala want to go with her? Sorry?
People who are adept at more quickly modifying torpedoes and warp cores.
You're gonna
That
be
sounds like a
fine.
Nova job to me.
Yeah, I think Nova Revival is coming with.
Sliders
because,
Nova.
Where's Vipers? So let's grab Vipers, pull him over, put it by there.
Wasn't Nova and the Bravos going on their own mission to try and identify where this sort of like entity is kind of?
Honestly,
That's the thing.
am I going mad, or have we missed the combat in the environmentals?
No,
We
that's
haven't.
open to
Yeah.
I'm going to
Haven't
get
done
there
that yet.
soon. I just
Yeah,
want to
splitting the
do
party
this bit
many
first.
ways.
It's a long way down to deck 18, okay?
And we stopped by the weapons bay.
Yeah.
And you stopped by the pub on route. You needed a look.
Yeah. We needed to check that Mr. Minoko was okay.
Big flowers.
Wrapping the next layer of bubble wrap.
So, whilst this is going on and Natala is now getting ready with her boarding party to get to the Klingon ship to do whatever modifications you need on the Klingon ship, Bravo and Engineering is probably going to need to start modifying the ram scoops, as you said. So, while that's going on, we are going to redirect ourselves to environmental control, and, yes... Claude and Andrews walk in to environmental controls
walk
from
out.
one end. Sounds like the start of a joke. Claude and Andrews walk into a room and find a pair of one lieutenant and one ensign kind of ducking down behind the environmental controls central panel, whilst a load of Orions are now busting through the door. It looks like they have just busted through the door and have overridden the door controls, but Andrews and Claude have luckily arrived at the same kind of time, so it's time for them to shine. So I'm not going to include those two cowering crew members in the initiative step quite at the moment because they're kind of pinned down. It's time for Andrews and Claude to be heroes. I take it that Andrews is going to be... Nova probably wouldn't respond if she's trying to jump down a rabbit hole of empathy telepathy. Yep, we will get to that. Caval is good at ships. Yes, he is, but Caval is kind of indispensable. Is kind of otherwise occupied. It'll take him a little bit of time to get back. Whilst all that's going on, this is also going on at the same kind of time. So let's do this. I'm assuming that Andrews is using her ability to...
Yeah, I've already clicked it. Quick to action.
Cool, quick to action. I'm going to scroll down now. There we are, quick to action. So both Claude and Andrews will be operating first, at the very least on the first. So off you go. So as you can see, there's a walkway that goes around the upper part of the main environmental control systems. There's still places, of course, for people to monitor the environmental control whatevers. But you've
so
got the
Type 3 phaser doesn't have area. That's interesting.
It's more of a single shot, concentrated
Alright,
beam.
well,
Ouch.
minor action. Yeah, minor action then to charge it. Accurate was the roll. Was the roll 1d done? Was to re-roll 1 at d20, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So let's go for charged.
Charge is what allows you to either make it area or vicious.
Yeah, vicious.
Vicious. Alrighty. So you shooting one, you shooting many. Vicious. You're charging that guy. Cool.
All of the above.
So you know the drill, control, and security.
Let's burn the determination of for the good of the Federation. Hold the line.
Hold the line. It shall be.
The kind of we spend the point of determination to which one is the one that it's my veteran role, isn't it? Veteran, yes. The veteran perk.
So roll a challenge dice. D6 basically. You get it back.
Yeah.
You get the the determination back. Cool. So yeah, off you go.
Control security, perform task, using foci, use determination.
Difficulty 2. So yep. Just as well you did. 4 successes, 2 over and above what you needed. You've got maximum momentum already, so you may as well put those 2 into extra damage.
Yeah.
You've got it on vicious, so every effect does extra damage as well. So let's see. 5 successes, 5 effects means you get it for 10, 11. He is almost down in one shot. Is that right? That's not right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I was right. I was right.
And
Maths
then the
was never my
2d6
strong suit.
additional damage from the mission,
Yep, I already counted that.
Okay.
That roll. So you got 10 over, and the extra 2. Actually, it was an extra 1, but what the heck? Gave you 11 in total. So yeah, that's what you got. So he's a tough guy. He takes the shot, but he stays up. So that means Andrews changed the setting on her rifle. If you spend a point of momentum, Andrews can also use a fast action to reposition herself.
Yeah, I'll spend it to then effectively get to the. I'm going to get in the way of the stairs.
Yeah, so you barrier the stairs. Nice. So, oh, I didn't begin combat. Clawt's turn. So, what would you guys like Clawt to do? Is he going to open fire as well with his
Yeah, if he
Type 3
charges for
phaser
area,
rifle?
then he'll finish off that one as well as everything else.
Yeah, cool. That's a good idea. Folks agree? Change the setting to area.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So he could probably try and target that guy as the primary in order to try and get as many adjacent as possible. So, fast action to charge it to area, so it's just going to be control and security. Has he got phasers? He does not. So he's just going on talent alone. He can still buy momentum if he needs to. He also does have a point of determination he can spend, but he's only got 1. So it's up to you guys if you think he will use his 1 point determination now or save it for later. What do you think?
Wow, if you'll allow it, is that I can persuade it to convince Claude to shoot.
Then spend it.
I can communicate with him, so spend it. Haha! Now I spend mine.
Alrighty.
And then we use that one again. Let's see.
Technically, it's not. Whenever the character spends a point of determination, Claude does not have veteran.
No, I'm spending mine
Oh.
because I'm giving him mine with commanding officer.
Aha! Ha 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 ha! Pardon me, I wasn't following. I wasn't following. And you get it back.
Hey!
Yeah, so basically Andrews is on a roll here. She's plumbing the depths of her not insignificant will to not only drive herself but also drive Claude on. So Claude gets to spend momentum, determination.
Have to be pumped on a roll.
That's neat. Forgot you had that. Very good. So yeah, Claude gets to shoot and use a point of determination. He doesn't have a focus he can use, but he still has all the necessaries. So whoever wants to do Claude, basically. Sean, if you're still about, give us a Claude. Control and security. Difficulty 2, but using a determination that was Andrews's. Nice. 4 successes, 2 over and above what was needed, which means that he can get all of them. May as well pile it into all the damage, so Claude gets to do the normal damage for the phaser rifle and add an extra 2 dice. Very colourful dice they are too. 7, 8, 9, 10. They each take 10. Oh, they're not down, but they get caught in a wide-angle beam. That nearly takes them all out. In one fell swoop. But it does take out the lieutenant because he only had 1 left. So, very well, he's down. Defeated. So now it comes to the Orions themselves, and wow. They walked in, they thought they had the upper hand, then in walk Andrews and Claude, and whoa, down them in no time at all. Their lieutenant is down. They're all feeling pretty stressed. I'm gonna say that they are retreating. They are all escaping. And are taking no further part in the battle.
Wow, they can try that. I'm not letting them get away this time. They got away from in engineering.
Cool. So, basically, Andrews is going to pursue. If you spend a point of momentum, you can chase after them and change the settings to area and then try and get the lock.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. In the back. Shoot them all in the back with a wide-angle phaser burst.
So, yeah, I am going to spend preservation of life now because they are potentially trying to attack the ship.
And the fact that you've spent 2 points of determination so far and got them both back, so...
Yeah, let's try again. Come on. 3 for
Come on,
3.
you've done well so far. Let's have it. 3 for 3. Ah!
Nearly. Oh, well.
Nearly. But that wasn't bad at all.
To perform task, control security, using foci, using termination.
Yep, and yep. Basically, if you hit them, they're down. Oh yeah, they're done. Shoot them all with a wide-angle beam in the back. Knock, knock, who's there? Not them anymore. Right, yes, in a big heap, they are all battered down. And taken out. And this allows... Now, of course, Andrews does realise that the communication system does seem to have taken a knock. And can't signal back to the bridge that these guys have been taken down, but you did ask Lieutenant Bravo to send a second security team to try and help with environmental control. So just like before, those guys get here at that point in order to take the Orions into custody and take them to the brig. The brig is going to be really full today.
One says, apologies, Commander, for getting here late. We had to climb over the pile of Orion bodies.
I'm so high, we use them as sandbags.
So, we are jumping now to Vibers, Nova, and Natala, who are beaming over.
Nova's gone AWOL.
Well, at the moment,
Well-
I think we've got a broken transporter, so we might have to take a shuttle.
The transporters by this point will be repaired. You've given Latude enough time by now. Oh yeah, I said I was going to get back about Nova, wouldn't I? I do apologise for that. Nova wouldn't respond as she's trying to jump down the rabbit hole, telepathy, empathy. Nova definitely feels that there's definitely a presence. This curious presence. Every time Nova tries to make a connection, she definitely knows that the other consciousness is receiving it. But the consciousness just seems to be intent on watching what you're doing. So Nova can't get any real answer, per se, out of the out of whatever's watching you guys, but definitely seems intent on observing what you're doing. So whether or not this allows Nova to go with the away team is entirely up to you, Sean. I leave it in you to decide what you think your character would do. But this does mean that since we've lost you on sound, we're going to have to wait for you to actually type your answer, sir. I will give you a moment. But they definitely seem very curious.
Natala, how many torpedoes do we need aboard the Klingon ship?
Yes.
I can't do a yes, Andrews will kill me.
Sean, are you actually
I'm already
hearing me? Can I just confirm that you can actually hear me, Sean?
Yeah, confirmation.
Bread, right, yeah, okay, cool. So, what do you think Nova would do? Go with stay and keep trying to contact these people, even though whoever they are, these they, them, it, seem to be just intent on watching what you're doing for the time being, or is Nova actually going to go and see a Klingon ship? Plan was to try and hook up with Bravo Network and try and make a full connection and find its physical form. Ooh. Literally going full distraction mode and trying to turn a mental self-taught to point a shot at them. Okay, cool. I'll pop you off to one side then, and I will deal with that in just a sec. Don't let me forget it either, all of you. Just because Sean's silent, I can sometimes forget. But I just want to deal with this first. So we're sending over Vibers and Natala.
In terms of how many torpedoes we need to find and or modify, it's relative to the mass of the catalyst, so it depends on how much of our body masses are currently a relevant catalyst.
But Jude, you know those extra torpedoes that were hanging around in the NCO's mess room?
Well, actually, whilst we're here, the kind of torpedoes we need are probably the Klingon ones, because our ones are too advanced for the reaction I want to get.
They are, but they'll give us the extra energy we need to help propel the Klingon stuff further. I'm planning to put them inside this ship with none of the safeties enabled, so they just have more boom.
Oh, okay, that works.
Get
So-
some bridge ambience off for a minute. Right,
Jude.
as Natala, and sorry to interrupt you there, Davis, but as Natala and Vipers arrive on the Klingon ship, they seem to have arrived in near engineering, which is probably where you wanted to go anyway to make modifications. And that's when you hear the metallic clanking sound of a Klingon door opening, and a whole bunch of Klingons come striding in. They are brandishing disruptors, but one steps forward from the others. You! Where did you come from?
Another ship which has just been boarded by Orions. I believe they
Orions!
might have been your problem to start with.
Yes, definitely. You are Federation.
How bad is your ship? Is it recoverable?
We don't know. We were just here about to check on engineering because the systems have been less than cooperative. I am Captain Cannock. You are...
Lieutenant Commander Natala, Starship Navis.
Commander Vibers, Starship Navis.
Navis! I have heard of you. You are honorable individuals. He signals for his fellow Klingons to holster their weapons, and he holsters his own. We will call a truce for the duration of this episode, shall we not, of difficulty. But right now, my chief engineer, one of his lieutenants steps forward, tells me that our core systems appear to be showing signs of malfunction, the potential for reaching a catastrophic breach. We would appreciate your assistance, if you are willing to give it.
How many of your crew are left?
You're looking at them.
It
Right.
may well be that such a breach is exactly what we need if we can plan it right. I'm afraid we may have to sacrifice your ship in order to get out of this mess, Captain.
This is unfortunate.
Pulling a joined experience of. Why can I never fucking remember?
We have established that one of Vibers' previous hosts was indeed all about them Klingons.
And thankfully, we're near the orbit of a planet which considers itself neutral, so there would be no need for anyone to take anyone else a prisoner of war. We could simply return to our holidays.
Indeed. Very well. If you believe the sacrifice of this fine ship would be worth getting us out of this entire debacle, then I accept. Now, this is met with a grumble from one of the officers, and it starts to get taken up by one or two of the others, but
This ship can go down in glorious battle against an anomaly, saving yourselves and this world. It is an awesome bit of honor. And I
Yeah.
wish that was, and it would be really fitting for this to be something that you all survive to hand over to the Dahar Masters yourselves.
the captain nods at this and seems to accept it. There, you see? He turns to the officer who raised the objection at first. There is honor in this sacrifice. Come, let's go to into the engineering section. See how bad it is. I'm going to move them en masse. They don't actually go through the wall, but you know what I mean. It is a mess.
Anything's possible.
As you can imagine, it is a mess. A very, very big old mess. But if you are planning to stage a warp core detonation, then it seems half the work is already done for you, because not only is there signs that there some kind of conflict took place in here, thankfully no random fire did too much damage, but this place has obviously been taking knocks as well from whatever battle it was in before, and from the graviton pulses that have been striking it. So, you guys are going to be getting on with making modifications to this. So I'm just going to ask for the initial... Let's see. This sounds like it's going to be some kind of daring and engineering type relatable shenanigans going on here. Although I will allow Natala to aid by using reason instead, because Natala is leading on what needs to be changed, or at least fixed in such a way that it will correspond with the effect that you're trying to get out of it. So, yeah, and this of course allows Parent Figure to allow you to ignore the first complication that may or may not occur. So if we have Vibers lead this with daring and engineering, and let's see, you're going for warp field dynamics definitely on this. And of course Natala is probably going for quantum mechanics on this to try and alter the energy signatures. That's fine, so you guys get me wrong, I'm going to make it a 2, because you're trying to fine-tune a warp core detonation. So let's see how you do.
I think I'm continuing to test theory, so I think I'm also rolling 2 dice.
Okay, cool, brilliant. Roll them bones. So there's Natala's, which is already 2 successes, so whatever Vipers get is gravy on the dinner.
I'm just double checking. Damn it, can't see the fucking details.
Yeah, edit it if you can't actually read it. Cochrane Medal of Excellence. Select a single focus you possess that relates to the field for which you have earned the award. Well, it was engineering. Who was it? Didn't actually note it down. I'll accept that it's this for the moment.
Engineering and power stuff.
Once permission, when you spend a point of determination on a task, you receive 2 benefits of spending point of determination. Wow, so that's already an extra 4 momentum on top of that. So either way, you've already done it, so the rest is just academics. Just roll 1 dice then. And no complications, so that is a job.
So 6 successes from me and 2 from the tower.
Yeah, wow, that was huge.
We
Meanwhile,
got rid of the extra torpedoes that were blocking the NCO's mess.
back on the Navis. Let's see, communications have finally been brought back up online, which means Edwards can either make his way back to engineering or make his way to
Engineering, he's going to swing by the lab, because first he's going to check, is that stun gun still with him?
The sun gun's still with you, yeah.
And just, swing by the experimental lab to see if it's there? Question mark?
So in this case,
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's with you.
Okay. Unusual.
Right, now let's get to Nova and Bravo. Make full connection. Find its physical form. Cool. So, peeps start filing back into the bridge. Can I get Nova to give me the usual insight and command for telepathic Ouija-woo, please? And we will assume aiding via the Bravos. So, well, I'll probably take this as an advantage to lower the difficulty by 1. I won't tell you what it is. Roll away. Cochrane Medal of Instance, I can also kill you with my brain! So, when you spend a point of determination, you receive 2 benefits. So yes, going well into it here. Empathic Orphan, no problem. So that's already... Again, 4. Already 4 successes. So, anything else is just extra. 7! Nice. Okay, so... The lights on the bridge suddenly start to dim. The deck plates under your feet and the bulkheads all around you start to shudder and groan. For a moment, everybody on the bridge feels a great weight on each of your chests as if the atmospheric pressure was cranked up well beyond normal range. But then, a bright pinpoint of silver light appears in the center of the bridge, which starts to resolve itself into a form. Now, even though it said center of the bridge, I can't actually fit what's going to happen right in the center of the bridge without overlapping with a few people, so I will put it up to the side. And it soon expands into the image of a floating alien head, the likes of which you have never seen before. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yep.
It looks like it's coming out of Ensign Kesh's head.
Yeah, mottled blue and purple in colour with lightly pockmarked skin. It is some 4 meters in circumference with 4 large eyes arranged in a square pattern with a horizontal mouth between them edged with wispy filaments that appear to be whiskers or some form of antennae. If the being has a gender, it's indeterminate. As the sense of wonder... Actually, that's a good point. Let me make sure. As the sense of wonder at encountering a new life form settles in, the mouth opens, and you are momentarily deafened by the one word it utters in a long, slow breath. Let me get this right.
Greetings.
Claw, sounds like you.
Let me try and...
So, this is Claude. This is not Claude. I admit, the difference is minor.
You're using the giant from Strange Aeons.
Right.
No consequences.
So, as the creature says greetings, there is another huge rumble of the ship as it gets struck with another graviton wave. So I'm going to actually strike the ship with a graviton wave and see which system it strikes. Structure again. Uh-oh.
No, it broke the bungee cords.
Let's see what deck. Deck 3, once again, already weakened from the previous, gets damaged once more. So structure damage on deck 3, the primary shield generators.
Thank the maker we got all those extra quantum torpedoes out of the NCO's mess.
I'd like it as that sort of like, you know, engineering Bravo. He's just like, we've just about fixed it. Oh no!
So
Well, he's used to having 3 teams to back it. We've usually got 3 teams for engineering. They're all holding bungee cords together at the moment. And Bravo's going, you want to do what as well? You've got
since
a hand?
communications are back online, we now suffer more damage to the structure, which means that yes, the total number of the vessels suffered many fires and a serious hull breaches. In some places, it's even Deck 3 is now losing life support. The extreme disarray will make it extremely difficult to perform repairs and will complicate the range of all engineering tasks to repair the ship by 3. The difficulty of all engineering tasks to repair the ship will be increased by 1. This also lowers the ship's resistance to half its normal amount. So it goes down to 2. The difficulty to repair this, including the penalty from this damage, is 5. Although we can do an extended task about that at some other point. So, the floating head starts to utter a series of deep bass hums and treble clicks, none of which it appears that the universal translator knows what to make of. Using the psychic link I tried to pierce to find it would be possible to channel this into an open communication conduit through Nova, and or trying to link in a hello drone, since that's had empathy before, has it? Okay, using the psychic link, you try to find it's possible to channel an open conduit. Okay. Nova, since she successfully and quite well successfully managed to create this link to this consciousness, this creature, and seemingly brought it physically here, you can indeed use Nova as a kind of an intermediary, yes, in order to translate whatever can't actually be translated. So, nice. I will allow you to do that since you scored so many successes at the previous. This might cause a headache afterwards, so I'm giving Nova an injury that doesn't do much to debilitate her for the time being. Will work out when it comes into effect at a later point. So, whenever I talk now as the alien, assume that this is something that's being kind of channeled through Nova. So Nova talks, when she's answering as the alien, she's answering both as herself and the alien, so it's kind of 2 voices are coming out all at the same time as the creature and Nova kind of sync up, as it were. So, if there's no questions you're going to ask it, then the creature goes first.
Ah, of course, you cannot comprehend. My kind refer to ourselves as Ichuni. We have no need for individual names. However, if it will ease your childlike minds, you may address me as Chu.
The ship shudders once again, not as violently as before, but it still shudders as another gravitational wave strikes it. Those 2 of you, Vibers and Natala, who are on the Klingon ship, you are getting the gravitational whomping as well. But it's not affecting your ability to make the changes you're making, which, considering the sheer amount of successes you guys got, is going very well indeed, and the Klingons
It's a good job we're going to blow this whole thing up shortly, and there's no reason why we should feel guilty about this at the moment.
I think at some point there should be a communication from the Navis to the Klingon vessel.
Yep, Ensign Keshen reports the comms are back online now, so you can open communications between both. So feel free, yep.
I'd assume that it'd be the captain that does the communication to the Klingon vessel, see if it's
Sure.
the Klingons that respond.
So it's yes, and the Klingons do respond in kind. So I'm assuming you're saying that you're giving them, you're telling them you're going to allow them to beam over when they feel a bit irked at childlike, haven't been able to find this is at it. Okay. So yes, the Klingons have kind of resolved themselves that their ship is lost, but they are going to make it off. And the captain of the Klingon ship seems
and also
okay.
to advise Natala and Vibers not to blow it up yet.
Sure.
Gives me extra time to have to talk the Klingons into the next piece of can Vibers make this sound cool, which is
bit?
basically stealing their torpedoes and strapping their dead to them.
Wait, what?
Because you scored so many successes on what you did, you'll basically be able to explain to them the scientific reasoning behind what you're doing. And as far as and Vipers will be able to corroborate this. As far as the Klingons are concerned, as soon as a Klingon warrior is dead, their spirit has gone off to Stavokor. What's left behind is just an empty vessel. So if those empty bodies, those empty sacks of meat can be used in a way that can again help them achieve this glorious overcoming of an obstacle, then the captain's fine with it.
Yeah.
State funeral. Yes, indeed. Well, you know, they were either their spirits have already gone off to join the Black Fleet on the ship of the dead.
Vibers
So
is going to channel the memories of Laral, his first host, and she would say that let's get your dead to Stavokor.
well, the dead are already at Stavokor, but now by committing their bodies to this final action, they're going to gain even more honor after the fact. So it's a win-win for the Klingons.
They died in glorious battle.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that their bodies were used for glorious battle afterwards.
Exactly.
Technicality.
So Nova feels irked at being called childlike.
I would apologize, little one, but that is what you seem to be to us. You are lesser intelligences, I am afraid. But do not feel bad. It is merely your limitations that make you so.
So, we need to understand as to why you are currently here, and whether you know what's happening relating to the gravimetric distortions that are continuing to degrade and destroy our ship.
Speaking of which, another one does hit whilst the creature was talking. Not sure how much more the ship can take of that kind of nonsense. Okay, so there does appear to be. Go on, sorry.
Are the shuttle bays accessible, and is the Samson and the Carpathia in usable state?
They should be.
Because we could potentially then use them with their shield arrays to potentially block part of the gravitational wave. So they would both take an absolute hammering from it, but it may buy a bit of time to try and get some of the systems back online further on the Navis.
It's possible, but since they're smaller ship, they would probably get crushed like cans the first time a gravitational wave hit them. Because they are significantly smaller vessels.
Is it worth Caval? Can you try and attempt to roll the ship so that the dorsal section is taking some of the brunt of this?
That's certainly possible.
Because then it means that deck 3 is not going to take as much of a hit. But the lower decks are going to start taking some more pressure on it, and the nacelles are going to take hits, unfortunately.
Okay, so as Caval does this, the creature... Well, yeah, actually, pardon me. So Andrews orders Cabal to do that, and the creature...
Goes, yes, well done, pilot. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry, you haven't done it yet. I forget.
And yes, as soon as it says that, another gravitational wave does hit, but thankfully Cabal is able to turn the ship enough, even whilst caught in this tractor beam, that you can catch the ship on a... The ship gets caught with another rock. It does make a few things spark, and there is an audible groaning from the ship's superstructure, but... So I'm going to stick this on now, actually. Grinding gear, metal of the ship. So... Who've we got?
So the questions that I asked it were, one is why is it here, and two, what's does it know what's happening to the ship at this moment in time?
We are explorers, just like yourselves. And we are making contact. As for those gravitational waves, they are not our doing.
However, another gravitational wave does hit when the creature answers. There is a good amount of alert noises coming from several consoles, and Hello will be able to say that the moons of Hefner 7, the outermost planets of the Hefner system, they have now been knocked so far out of their orbits that they are now starting the descent down onto the planet. They are being dragged down. Meanwhile, that last graviton smack was so huge that for Natala and Vibers on the Klingon ship, that one was pretty heavy, and systems are now starting to buckle on the Klingon ship. You've got probably about 15 minutes before the ship explodes from massive damage. But you've set up what you wanted to set up with the core. It's now as ready to go as it's ever going to be, but you've now got a countdown of, just through pure structural damage, how long before the thing actually detonates.
If we were to prevent this, if we were to close this graviton event, will that sever your connection to this area?
Isn't that the most interesting question? I would have thought you'd... Ah, yes, of course. You are limited by the present. It is almost so easy to forget in your case.
The answer that was not an answer did provoke another graviton wave to hit. This is starting to get serious now. You can hear the tortured strain of the ship. Natala, stages that Natala and Vibers are preparing, waiting on the order. Matter-antimatter explosion. Yep. Isolated catalyst of the body. Tear down the subspace rift to pieces. Smaller subspace rifts. Yep. Okay. Large gamma radiation to force all subspace rift and intricate close. Nice. So yes, you've got your plan. The only problem is that if the Klingon ship goes up, with the Navis's shields down, and with the Navis in such close proximity, and the Navis already having suffered such structural damage, it might take the Navis with it.
I'm confident it won't.
Okay, alright.
I think we're done.
Yeah,
everybody off.
Let's bring you back to the ship.
Yes, and I'm taking the Klingon engineer with me back to my engine.
Yeah, so even though I've got Natala and Vibers having beamed onto the ship, you're actually beamed back to the transporter pad. So Vibers can go back to engineering where he normally goes, and Natala can come back to the bridge if she so wishes. And of course, well, as soon as Natala comes through the door, she's met with Big Giant Head. Ah, Star Trek adventure writers, I've just got what you've done. The Big Giant Head, really? It's probably not, but you never know. It just seems far too much of a coincidence. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, third rock from the sun. Watch it.
I was going to say, I was thinking that.
Either way, that was our other cross-franchise quote of the evening. Haven't made that many today. So there we go, making up for lost time. So, yes, Andrews seems confident in the Navis' ability to take the warp core detonation of the D7, even though it's so close. What about the rest of you?
Vipers has got to go and get as much power into the shield systems as possible, and if anybody wants to go and help on deck 3,
That's
we
the
might
problem.
Plug the
The shields. Yeah, the shields are on deck 3.
Sadly, the primary shield generators were on deck 3.
Well, we still got the secondary shield generators, so
You
you
do
know.
still have secondary shield generators, so if somebody, possibly Nova, since she's got specialty with shields, could maybe try and activate, try and kick some power back into the shields. Might be worth it.
Oh,
Maybe Hello could do it.
how about we turn the deflector into a temporary shield?
Let's just bodge another thing onto the deflector dish.
Making stuff up as you wish.
I would actually be really tempted to say that, yeah, we because this is the thing, is that deflector pushes. Right, so if you actually read the actual law, is that a deflector pushes material out of the way. That's why it's called a deflector, whereas a shield reflects. So in theory, you could make the deflector a shield emitter.
It can be a particle shield, it's not an energy
Yes.
shield.
Yes. So if we fire enough energy through the deflector, we'd probably blow the deflector dish off.
Oh god, yeah.
It
But-
wouldn't do anything to like.
Unfortunately, that is on the front of the ship.
It wouldn't do anything to like disruptors and phasers and that kind of thing. But to the kind of gravitons we're being hit by, it's actually perfect for it.
Right, so the more the explosion.
Yeah.
Oh,
We need to shunt. We need to shunt enough energy to prevent the explosion. I think.
Right, you know the modification we worked on previously, just before we went in the first time, where we connected the transporters up to the deflector as a
Yeah,
shield.
it's all of that is already there, perfectly ready to stop the explosion. The problem is, if we turn that on to the state we want it to be to stop an explosion, whilst we're in proximity to the subspace rift, something bad happens. So we can only do that after the subspace rift's closed because of the gamma explosion.
Yeah.
So we can do it. It's just a matter of timing.
Madness.
It's
Okay.
a matter of timing, because if we turn that on too early, we basically get the effect of launching us about 50 million light years that way.
Let me just answer a question that's just been asked.
We know nothing of this Tilical you mention.
Graviton wave. You've now got 8 minutes before the Klingon ship detonates because of the
Right.
new
Okay.
graviton that just got hit.
So.
Yes, this will
Okay.
require a quick modification and timing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would do
so-
everything I can to get modification going. Can I get some people to do a sensible emergency down to deck 3? Edwards, are you busy?
I think no. The deck 3 has to stay as it is for now. We need to prioritize it because we're going to have to focus because deck 3 is in that bad a state.
We're gonna have to rely
Right,
just on the
okay,
building
Yeah.
with reflectors and
Launch
just
the shuttle,
timing right.
launch the Samson on remote. They can take a single hit.
For what? How will that improve our timing?
No,
Because
so
then
Davis
then
is-
the hit of it hitting, we're fine to get the shield in just after that hit. We don't have to have perfect timing then.
Well,
Survive the first hit.
it would be easier if we do it as an extended task and work to get the entire group, so everyone contributes to it.
I'd say that definitely favours Edwards because he's got the thing to do it to help on extended ones.
Okay. Alrighty,
And
let's.
if we do it as an extended one and we use the small craft, that gets Caval in for taking that first hit.
Let's put this in under... what are we doing? The way out is in... This is interesting.
We're not using the Carpathia or the Samson, so we'll yeet the remains of the Californian.
Oh,
Out.
feck it, we're burning the Samson and the Carpathia and the California. We're opening the hatch and throwing everything
Just
that's in
chuck
there.
chuck every single shuttle, every single worker bee just out with shields raised.
Just the ones that are on the deck ready to go, so the ones we currently have names for, not the ones in the storage base that don't exist yet until we need them.
Alright, I am fine with you guys nominating what tasks you want to make in order to start making progress on this extended task. So who wants to go first with something? You can each take a turn trying to do something.
So I would like to use my bits of to command to organise the actual timings of everything.
So it's down to Andrews to get the timing completely right. Okay, so that sounds like a presence and command type jobby.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out what
Difficulty 2.
The control command.
So
Presence and command
control
to-
command even, yeah, for timing.
They're
That would
both-
make more sense.
They're both the same. So I will burn my determination. Survival at any costs.
I'll say protocols. Starfleet protocols could act as your focus here, so that you know what to say, when to say it.
That's the Christopher Pike one. I've used that. Motivation. That's damage. No. Legion of Honor. Is the Medal of Honor? Oh, no, it's just bonus momentum. I'll burn a die as well. Momentum, if that's alright.
Sure, go for it.
And then I'll use one of my Legion of Honor to burn it back. To get it back.
Okay.
So, determination, using focus.
Difficulty 2, so if you've used determination, you've already done that, so. 3 successes, so 1 over what you needed. Okay, so you do gain that momentum back. Can I get you to roll me 5d6 then, please? Ooh, only
That was
1.
atrocious.
That was bad. Alright, but
can
you
I
at least
use
get...
the 2 momentum that was gained then to add
Yep,
2
sure.
die?
Let's do that. So you're getting the timing down. So Andrew's getting the timing down, putting everybody on.
Jesus!
But that was 2 extra. Okay, cool. All right, who's next? I mean, Edwards, Vibers, Natala, Nova,
Yeah.
Thazanan, anybody.
Yep, I'll get start it off if you want to.
Since you've got the talents that helps with extended tasks, yes.
Where is it? Nick of time.
Yes.
That one.
Can I just roll my 1d6 veteran perks?
Oh
see if I
yeah,
get
sure.
my determination
Yeah,
back?
do that. Do. No, you don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, that's it.
Okay, so what was it? It's control plus engineering?
If you want, that makes sense to me. Because this is your plan, so you tell me what you're using.
Well, effectively being guided by the people with the idea here. So,
Yep.
I don't think any of my folks my folks won't have any help, so I'm going to nab a momentum and see if I can win us back some more.
All right then. Right. Complication.
Now,
Everyone
as all being
glare it.
involved in this, does that mean that that count for the parent figure? So that was our first complication on this.
This is technically an extended task, but since you're all contributing towards the same task, I'll allow it.
Nah, it's just everyone glare at Edwards. He was the one that killed us all.
I mean, by all means, still glare at Edwards, and I might take that
They're nursing an injured shoulder here.
as
Oh,
less
let me
as a
just
lesson
say.
thing. But nevertheless,
Yes.
can I get Edwards to roll me 4d6, please?
Here's Nova currently connected connected into sort of like a psychic entity, so she's getting psychic backlash all the time. Just like, no,
One,
she's
two,
fine.
three, four,
Cabal's like,
five. Nice. 1, 2, 3. So you make a breakthrough there.
How many
Nice.
effects?
You didn't get any effects there, I don't think. Nope, not
Oh,
one.
that's a shame. Oh well.
But you did make a breakthrough there, so a necessary modification that was required for the whole thing to be pulled off has been pulled off successfully. Nice. Right, who's next? Who's making their
Alright.
changes? To...
Let's prepare to bounce a graviton particle beam off the main destination.
Let's do it. Fire the deflector then. This sounds like a daring and engineering type jobby to me.
It is.
Now, normally
and-
this would be quite difficult to do, to transform a deflector into a full-on shield, even though it's close.
But we've already
But
done it once.
because Vibers has already got the ability to ignore 1 point of resistance, I'm gonna just leave it at that anyway.
Okay.
Give it.
Right. Something he's going to do first. Can I burn some momentum?
Everyone else has been doing it, so...
Yeah.
So. Right. Because I have a manual for this.
Procedural compliance. By spending 2 momentum to create an advantage, you may re-roll 1d20 during the next engineering task. Awesome sauce. Go for it. Daring and engineering within all the sundries. 3 successes. Nice. So that was 1 over and above what you needed. You don't need to re-roll any of those. You got quite a good one there.
I'm guessing the advantage is that any checks we have to make regarding the deflector dish are now 1 easier.
Yaha. I'll do me fine for that. Can I get you to roll 5d6, please? Ooh, 1, 2, 3 effects and an extra 1, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Extra effect. The deflector is primed and ready and has been put on a hair trigger so that it's able to go up at a moment's notice. 1 more person can contribute to this.
I guess
I guess.
we're fairly sure that it'll work. We just need a safety mechanism in place in case the timing's wrong.
I like the
I don't
justification
feel
for the
like-
use of Starfleet safety protocols as a focus.
Indeed, I don't feel like getting launched across the universe. That's what I'm going to be rolling for.
Yeah, but we'd do it better than Voyager.
Plus, you're in a better ship than Voyager too, so you know.
Be fine.
So, making it clear, in the psychic connection only, hoping not to trigger another wave, Nova will ask them if there is anything they can do to lessen the effect of the wave and the explosion they've already watched. They say they were explorers, and it seems like the perfect time to exchange knowledge and services, making a pact and agreement in the name of peace. Nova does get a thought back. Oh yes, using the peace mission palm leaf. Nice. If there's anything they can do to lessen the effect of the wave, Nova gets the thought impression rather than the outright statement, so that she can relay it in the manner that Nova suggested, so that it doesn't cause any extra damage. That they have no control over what the anomaly is doing, other than they will just passively watch and not say anything in order to, you know, do any more than was already being done. 3 successes, I like it. 1 over and above what you needed. Can I get you to roll? What's Natala's engineering? 4? Roll me 4 dice. Roll me 5 dice, because you got an extra 1 over. 5d6. 1, 2, 3. Exactly what you needed. You have concluded the work necessary. Alright, all the preparations are in place. Chu just seems to be watching all the things as they go on. Nova definitely gets the impression of Chu wants to see what you do. But it's almost from a standpoint of it knows. It obviously knows something. Like it's already seen what's going to happen. But is interested in the here and now. So it's very, very weird. But you all brace yourselves for what's to come and engage your plan. The countdown happens. The Klingon ship is about to detonate. The countdown for the timer has gone well past the 8 minutes. You've only got seconds left.
Yeah, Kamal, did we tell you were going to do our daring escape attempt?
Offer it more
Was,
empathic senses for
was
you
given.
and out. Okay.
Oh, good.
Noted. The countdown happens. It goes down to 3, 2, 1. The countdown stops. The Klingon ship doesn't detonate. There is a rumble, and the high pitch of the tractor beams that were holding you switches in intensity. The ship beneath you starts to lurch to and fro, and then you feel the slightest sensation of movement as your ship begins to get pulled into the singularity, the Klingon ship being pulled with you. And then, suddenly, all light and sound snaps off, and you are plunged into utter darkness and silence. And that's where we're going to leave today.
Oh.
So, that
Fire of
concludes...
darkness sitting next to antimatter containment is not a good place to be.
Well,
So-
it's nice to know Commander Vibers.
That's the end of episode 26, part 2. The Way Out is in. Next week, hopefully, if everybody's still available. The 30th
Should be.
of May.
I know that at least Natala, Keshan, and myself survived this. So the rest of you is.
Next week, then, we will be starting either the first part or the entirety of episode 27, which will be the third and final part of this three-parter. And it's called Breaking the Lock. So, what will happen to the ship and the crew, and whether they can stop the anomaly? We will have to wait and see until next week. In the meantime, thank you very much, Suitable Substrate, for tuning in. Thank you to everybody else who watched, and thank you, of course, definitely to my players for joining us and making this also very interesting. Bit of a shame that Sean had some technical difficulties, but he was still with us and able to contribute.
With his spirit, we can almost hear his voice, even now.
Drifting somewhere over the ether. Nevertheless, yes, we will see you next week, same time, same place as per usual. So, from myself to everyone else out there, look after yourselves, be nice to everybody, and remember to do what the Vulcans do, which is not Fanfare, you dirty so-and-sos. I was talking about infinite diversity in infinite combinations, and also to remember to live long and prosper. So, thanks guys for attending, thanks everybody for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube later on and you enjoyed this and you want to see more, remember to click the like button so that myself, ourselves, and everybody else who do actual plays, especially the Star Trek lot, will get pushed higher up thanks to our Lord and Master, the algorithm. All hail
the algorithm.
Thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and we will see you next time. Hailing frequencies are now closed.